Now you get to see what our studio looks like. Now, we've had different iterations of the studio throughout the years. Again, we've been doing this for about 12 years, and we've had about 4 different studios in our offices. We moved offices one time. And every time we build it out a little bit more or add more things. And the fun part of having a studio is that it does grow. It grows with what your needs are, or you keep it the same forever. They don't have to grow. But if you have enough room and if you have enough equipment, we always grow or evolve the equipment we're using. On any given show, I could be using 10 different mics, not on per show, but throughout a year, I probably use 10 different mics on shows, only because I find it fun to switch. And it also gives a slightly different sound every time, and it's just good. People always go, ooh, we like those mics. What do you have? Part of the fun is playing with gear, and we're like big kids. We like the gear. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to show you what our studio looks like, all the components of it, and keep this in mind. You don't need to have all of this. So if you're looking at it right now going, that's a lot of money. Yes, but you don't have to. You can make it a lot cheaper. You can do a lot of things less than what we've done. This gives you an idea of a good professional studio that we have not spent hundreds of thousands on, but we probably spent about $40,000 on. And it'll give you an idea of what's in here and how you can work with all these components. Harold will be demoing that now.
Welcome to the Relatecasts studio. You're seeing it from a side that not many people see. And I'm going to go through it and show you the parts of what makes it work. And this should give you an idea of what a fully fleshed out studio looks like. So let's go over first to the host table. This is where Rick presents the shows from. And I'm going to point out a few different things to you. We've got lighting here and there. We've got a microphone on a boom arm mounted to the table. We've got a monitor, which is in this case a TV. We've got his monitor headphones, in this case Shure earbuds. And we've got the camera, which in this case is a Panasonic Lumix GH5S. The cameras that we use in our studio connect to our switcher machine either with an SDI cable or an HDMI cable like the one you see here. For our purposes, there isn't too much difference between the two. HDMI allows generally for a higher potential resolution compared to the SDI, as SDI at the time of this video is only able to do up to 1080p generally when on a single cable. There are multi-cable solutions, but we won't get into that. SDI is also able to run longer, but as we don't have a huge studio, that's not too much of an issue here. Much of our equipment, including lights, TVs, and cameras, can be operated by remote control. Many of these come with remote controls, so this can be really helpful, especially if you're running a one-man show. And this is our video switcher table. This is where our video switching is done, and because I do our switching and also sometimes co-host, it has many of the same things our host table has. For example, the camera, which you can see in the middle of the screen there, and we've got a mic boom arm, which is currently not being used. We've also got a laptop here, which we sometimes use to show PowerPoint and smaller things that we will then put over NDI to the main video switcher machine. And we've got, as before, a hair light. We've got the one light in front here for both key and fill. We've got our reference speakers behind the switcher table. Over in the corner, we have our audio racks. We're not actually using all of the stuff in our audio racks in our current setup. Mostly, it's going through the USB mixer right here. The USB mixer here does most of our audio processing that we need to and goes right through USB to the computer. However, we do use this Aphex channel for some of the sound processing on Rick's mic, and we also use this headphone amp to bring our headphones in. Over to the right, we've got our Skype machines, and these bring in our guests over Skype. Sometimes we use Skype, sometimes we use vMix Call, in which case we don't need additional machines, but for Skype, we bring in the calls over NDI using these Skype machines. One thing that's very important to our quality of sound is actually not on these audio racks over here. It's down and behind all of this, and let's go over there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now behind our switcher machine here, we have racks of these, which are Furman power conditioners, fur as in dog hair, man. These eliminate some of the unpleasant noise and audio abnormalities caused by various electrical effects. So unless you've got exceptionally clean electricity coming in, you're most likely going to benefit from some of these power conditioners.
Okay, that was a quick tour of our studio. Now, Harold and I have been working on this iteration of the studio for about almost 3 years now and making a lot of tweaks and changes. We've changed our layouts a bit. Right now we're kind of in an L layout where he's got the area where the switching happens and all the different consoles and racks on one side, and I'm kind of at a right angle to what he's doing on the other side. So I'm at a desk, a workstation kind of desk on one side. He's on a larger workstation on the other side. And we have other areas in the studio where we have some storage. We've got bags. We also have lights overhead. So we have a lot of different things in here. Harold is routinely moving around.
Yeah, and you may have noticed that I sounded a bit different in the video. It was in sort of the dry season here in Camarillo, California, so my throat was a bit different there. And hopefully what we showed you there in the video contextualized a lot of the stuff that we've been telling you so far. We've been telling you the gear you need and why you need it, but hopefully that gave you a picture of how it looks when it's actually connected together and how it sort of fits together.
In our next lesson, we're going to talk about camera recommendations, things that you can use, cameras you can use, and different options for your podcast. We only briefly touched on it earlier, but we'll go into a little bit more detail now. We'll see you there.